Diego brought a letter from the king himself to Ovando, and in the letter, the king expressed how unhappy he was with him. Ovando is forced to leave the island, leaving behind his palace, his riches, his lands, and his slaves. So he had to go back and give account of his behavior before the king. And part of what possibly could have stirred the pot against him was that one of the settlers, called Cristobal de Tapia, had filed a lawsuit against him in 1508. So Diego immediately falls into power and begins a campaign against the settlers who have reportedly abused the natives in their quote unquote care. And Diego is not unfamiliar with the natives. In 1493, when his father returned from the first trip, we know of 6 indigenous boys who ended up living at the court with Diego and his brother. We know that about 2 or 3 of them ended up surviving the entire time that they were there. As we have discussed before, Colon ended up adopting one of the indigenous boys and naming him after his son, El Indio Diego Colon. So Diego ate with him, lived with him, probably let him borrow some of his clothes. He got to know this indigenous boy very well. But it's obvious that this interaction with the indigenous people before even coming to the island did nothing for his heart. He continued to want and desire conquest, and his policies showed that. So on the island, Diego demanded full accounts of all of the settlers as to their behavior towards the natives. And he then heard of a particular settler named Francisco de Solis. From my understanding, this settler had arrived on the island about 1499. And right now, we're in 1509. So he had been there around 10 years. Francisco de Solis was el alcalde ordinario de la Villa de Santiago. He had also gained much wealth during his time on the island, having una hacienda called La Esperanza. We know he had several indigenous people under his command, given to him personally by Nicolas de Ovando. Many think that it was this association with Nicolas de Ovando that made Solis the perfect target of Diego Colon's new administration. I know that the background information is long, but all of it is necessary so we can understand what exactly was going on. Next, I'll be covering the different parts of the witnesses that we have so that we can better understand what the actual case covered.